Okay, let's get started. We will start with the prayers, the Mangalacharan prayers, which are in the beginning of the introduction of Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padikamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. We'll get started. So we covered till 7.7. So we are in this 7th chapter, which is extremely important. And I hope all of you have found a nice place to sit down and quiet place and are ready to listen and attend the class with great attention. So very quickly, I'll quickly share my slides and share where we are in the Bhagavad Gita or in this chapter. So this chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute. And we covered till verse number 7 last week, and which explained that Krishna is the source of everything material and spiritual. In 7.4 and 7.5, Krishna says there are two types of energies of him, or two types of his energies, inferior and superior. Inferior is made up of all material elements, the 5 physical material elements and 3 subtle material elements, mind, intelligence, and false ego. And then the superior energy is the living entities, the jivas. And everything in the material world comes from, or everything in creation, not just the material world, everything in creation, spiritual and material, comes from him. And then in 7.7, Krishna says that he is like the string in the necklace. He is the one that is supporting and sustaining the entire universe. And another important thing that he says is that there is absolutely nothing above him. Mattaha parataram na anyam. So mattaha parataram na anyat. There is absolutely nothing that is superior. Parataram means above him. So he is the source of everything. Everything emanates or comes from him. So he is the father, or he is the originator of the entire creation. and he is sustaining the entire creation. So that was Krishna is the source of everything, material and spiritual, from 4 to 7. Now, today we will go into so that was more of the source part. Now we will go into the part of sustenance or supporting the creation. Krishna is not only the source or the origin of creation, but also its maintainer or the sustainer. That we will see from 8 to 12. And today, my hope is that we should go around at least till 14. We will see where we end up. In all the previous years, it kind of goes 7 verses in the first class, next 7 in the next class. So hopefully we'll get to 14. If there is time, we can go to 15, or we will see. So there, now Krishna is going to, so if you remember the 3 terms that we had introduced last time, Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. So let me show that real quick. If you remember, this Sambandha means that understanding or realizing the relationship between us and Krishna is Sambandha. So that is being covered till the 12th verse, that Krishna is the source of everything and is the maintainer of everything. That is Sambandha. That is who Krishna is. Then, so what should we do? What about it? Okay, Krishna is the source of everything. So what? What is our role? Knowing that, what should we do? That is Abhideya. So the process, and then it will go further, and the future chapters will explain Abhideya, or that process of establishing that relationship, that connection with Krishna is Abhideya, which a hint of that or a small indication of that is available in the 7th chapter, like I said, but more details will be covered by Lord Krishna in the future chapters. And then Prayojana is covered in a very summary form in the Bhagavad Gita. Far greater details of Prayojana are available through the next level reading of Krishna's instructions, which is Srimad Bhagavatam, or also called Bhagavad Purana. Okay, so now we are going to go into more details of Sambandha, and we will touch Abhideya in 13th and 14th verses. So just to show here, this is all Sambandha, these two parts. And Abhideya will come kind of here in the 13th and 14th verses. So that is the general structure of how we are going to proceed. So I'm going to stop sharing again, and we will resume here. So 8th verse. So now from the 8th verse onwards, Krishna is explaining that he is not only the originator, but the sustainer of this entire creation. And he is going to mention 14 specific examples of how he is maintaining the whole creation. And then he will give a general principle afterwards. So he starts off by saying, Raso aham apsu kaunteya. So that is the first line of 7.8. Raso aham apsu kaunteya. So rasa means taste, and apsu means water. So aham, I am. So again, you will see, like we said last time, a lot of emphasis on who Krishna is. Aham, mama, mai, me. These kind of words, the 7th chapter is just littered with these words, and Krishna is talking about himself. So he's saying, I am the taste of water, my dear Arjuna. Kaunteya means Arjuna. So what does that mean? Krishna is saying that he is the essence of water, which means that water allows us to experience taste. Anything that we have to taste has to have some water in it. Even if it does not have water, like let's say salt, it mixes only when it mixes with our saliva, which is water, can we taste salt as salt? So our experience of taste comes when something mixes with water. So water is the one that provides the taste. So one of the essential qualities of water is to let us experience taste. So he is saying, I am the taste of water. So by tasting water or something mixed in water, we get different flavors. So in this way, Krishna is presenting to us the whole universe of various things that we can taste through his presence in water. So Krishna is present in water. Next, he says, Prabhasmi Shashi Suryayo. Prabha means I am the light, or what does it say here? Light. Yes. Prabha Asmi. I am the light of Shashi and Suryayo. Shashi means the moon and Surya means the sun. So I am the light of the sun and the moon. Pranavaha Sarva Vedeshu. Pranava is the root sound. The root sound is Om. That's the root sound of all Vedic literature. So Krishna is saying, I am that Pranava. I am the sound Om in all Vedic literatures. And Shabda Khe Paurusham Nirshu. So I am the sound in ether. Shabda Khe. So the sound of ether. Kha we had discussed in detail last week. It's ether. So in the same way, like water allows us to experience taste, ether allows us to receive sound. And one of the explanations given by devotees is sound or information. So ether is what allows the transmission of information. So Shabda Khe, and then Paurusham Nrishu. I am the ability, Paurusham. Paurush means ability. Purusha means man, but Paurusha means ability in man. So Nrishu means men. So the translation goes like this. O son of Kunti, Kaunteya, I am the taste of water, Raso Amapsu Kaunteya, the light of the sun and the moon, Prabha Asmi Shashi Suryayo, the syllable Om in Vedic mantras, Pranavaha Sarva Vedeshu, I am the sound in ether, Kha Paurusham, and the ability in man. Sound in ether is Shabda Khe, and ability in man is Paurusham Rishu. So 5 things are being described here in this verse. So what does that mean? And like this, we will see a couple of more verses where Lord Krishna is describing he is the essential characteristic of everything that exists. That is what is the essence, or what's the meaning of this verse. Krishna is the underlying unifying force that enables us to experience the universe. And also Krishna is the one that is keeping matter alive. Now matter is not living, but what it means is Krishna is the one that is keeping matter from disintegrating to the point of annihilation. Just like in the previous verse, he says, Sutre Manigana Iva. I am the sutra, I am the string in a necklace. Like the string is keeping the necklace together. In the same way, Krishna is keeping all matter together. Otherwise, matter would annihilate without Krishna's presence within matter. So it does not mean that. So what does it mean? Krishna or God is in water. He is in ether. But it does not mean Krishna or water is Krishna. That's not the meaning. So we should not say, oh, water is the same as Krishna. No, that's not the correct understanding. The correct understanding is Krishna is in water, but Krishna is much, much more than that. So when we see water, we should realize this water would not exist if Krishna wasn't there. So this whole section also, one of the big uses of this section, you will say, okay, this is all information, facts. How is this useful to me? That question may be asked. What should I do with it? So what you can do with this information is that you can use this to remember Krishna all the time. Later on, as we go in this chapter, and you have already seen this through the 6th chapter, controlling the mind was dhyana yoga. But the emphasis of bhakti yoga is to focus our mind on Krishna, though with not such an intensity as in dhyana yoga. We focus our mind on Krishna, but request Krishna to help us to focus our mind on him. But still there is an element of focusing our mind on him as best as we can. That is the concession that is allowed in bhakti yoga. You don't have to do it all by yourself perfectly. That would have become dhyana yoga. But you do it as best as you can, request Krishna's help, that becomes bhakti yoga. But still there is a emphasis on remembering, on thinking about Krishna. So you will ask, a lot of people ask, how can I think of Krishna all the time? These 14 examples give a very wonderful way of remembering Krishna as much as we can. When you're drinking water, you can say, wow, this water has Krishna within it. You can think like that. Now that can happen only when you have read Bhagavad Gita, or you begin to realize, you begin to see the world in that way. You have to practice also, that when you're drinking, first few times you drink water and say, oh, I drank water the whole week and I didn't remember Krishna. Okay, tomorrow when I drink water, or today when I drink water, let me try to think of Krishna. Now, we all drink water. There is nobody who can go without water for one day. So when you are drinking water, think of Krishna. And there are so many other examples that we will see. And this is going to become the basis of Arjuna asking the question about Krishna's vibhutis, which we will cover in 10th chapter, which is the opulence of the absolute, or Krishna's opulences. So all the, these 14 examples will be expanded into 82 examples in the 10th chapter. Now, I just wanted to show you another beautiful verse that Krishna is within everything. This is from the Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita is another, like I said, wonderful book, or one of the wonderful texts in our Vedic scriptures that Lord Brahma composed at the beginning of creation. So let me share my screen. So again, I am on Vedabase, and we will go to all books and Brahma Samhita. And this will be the 35th verse. Very beautiful verse. It says, I'll just go through the translation to save time. Lord Brahma is glorifying Lord Krishna, and he is saying he is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. Now here is in his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. Now this is the part. All the universes exist in him. So all the universes exist within Krishna, and he, Krishna, is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore. So Brahmaji is saying that Krishna, every universe is present within Krishna, and at the same time, Krishna is present within every atom of every universe. So like that, he is present in every atom of water, every molecule of water. He is present everywhere. So this verse kind of just re-emphasizes the point that we are reading in Bhagavad Gita. I just wanted to show you that. This is Brahma Samhita, number 35. Okay, so we'll go to the next verse. 7.9. Punyo gandha prithivyam cha tajesh chasmi vibhavasau tejas chasmi vibhavasau jivanam sarvabhuteshu tapascha asmi tapasvishu. So punyo gandha prithivyam cha. So I am the fragrance of the earth. The punya means original, gandha is fragrance, prithivyam is the earth. So I am the original fragrance of the earth. So earth has fragrance. So Krishna is saying, I am that fragrance of the earth. Tejas cha asmi vibhavasa. Vibhavasa is fire. I am the tejas, the heat in fire. Jivanam sarvabhuteshu. Among all living beings, I am the life. I am the life force. And tapascha asmi tapasvishu. So tapasvi, you know, all tapasvis, the ascetics or the sadhus and the ascetics. I am the tapas. I am the what is written here? I am the penance of all the ascetics. So I am the tapas of all the tapasvis. So that is what Krishna is saying here. So another 4 more examples are given. We'll go on to the next verse, 7.10. Bijam mam sarvabhutanam. So now this is very significant. Bijam mam sarvabhutanam. I am the seed. Srila Prabhupada translates that I am the original seed of all existences. Sarvabhutanam, Krishna is the bij or the seed. Bij means seed. Vidhi partha sanatanam. You must know that. Buddhir buddhimatam asmi. Now this is also very beautiful. Buddhir buddhimatam asmi. So buddhimatam is an intelligent person. Buddhimata. I am the buddhi. I am the intelligence of the intelligent person. And tejas, tejasvinamaham. I am the tejas or the what is the translation given here? The prowess of all tejasvis, of all powerful people, of all powerful men. So tejas, tejasvinam aham. So this is very, very useful for all of us to again remember Krishna when, let's say, you do something. Buddhir buddhimatam asmi. A lot of us are doing all kinds of work which requires some intelligence. Where is that intelligence coming from? Krishna is saying, I am that intelligence. If you are an intelligent person, I am the intelligence. If you are a bright person, tejasvinam, if you are a brilliant person, if you are a powerful person, I am the tejas. I am the power. So we must understand that all this is coming from Krishna. We must not take our physical faculties that we have received lightly. They are all coming from Krishna. There are so many people who are having some kind of deficiencies at birth, right from birth. We are so lucky for those that are intelligent, that are powerful, that we should not take that for granted and think that, oh, it's my intelligence. So whenever you get a promotion in your office, or somebody just appreciates, oh, you did very good work, or your child does some good work, the child should think this intelligence is coming from Krishna. Thank you, my dear Krishna, for giving me this intelligence. Or you do something that requires strength. You go and do a hard work in a day. Always remember that my body is able. I'm able to do this because of Krishna. So many people are born with a diseased body, or with some kind of impairment or ailment or something where they cannot use their body as much as a able man or woman can. So we must always take an opportunity to thank Krishna every day for giving us intelligence, for giving us an able body. Never ever we should forget Krishna. I tell my children always, if you get anything successful that you do in your life, whether in your school or in sports or anything, the first thing when something good happens, you remember Krishna and offer it to Krishna, that I didn't get this by my own ability. This ability came from you. So this result is also yours. Please take this result. Just offer the results to Krishna. Always remember this, always. So very clearly these two lines, Buddhir Buddhimatam Asmi, Tejas Tejasvinam Aham. Always remember this line. Now another line, 7.11, is Balam Balavatam Chaham. So again, very similar to Tejas Tejasvinam Aham. Now here, Balam means strength. So directly it is being talked about strength. Balavatam, of the strong people. Cha Aham. Cha Aham means Cha Aham, and I am. So I am the strength of the strong. So once again, if we have strength, we should attribute that strength, the presence of that strength in our body, to Krishna. And another important line is Kama Raga Vivarjitam. That strength which is Vivarjita. Vivarjita means devoid, absent. So that strength which is in which Kama and Raga are absent. What does that mean? Kama Raga Vivarjitam. So we have read in previous chapters Raga Dvesha, what is that? Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. So giving up Vita, Raga Bhaya Krodha, attachments, fear and anger. Raga means attachments, Bhaya means fear, and Krodha means anger. So Raga means attachments, and Kama is lust, which is nothing but a very strong form of an attachment, almost to the point of making you crazy about it. That's called lust. So Kama Raga Vivarjitam. So which means that kind of strength which is devoid of Kama and Raga, which means you should not use the strength. That kind of strength is Krishna, which is not used for dominating over others, for our sense gratification. That kind of bala, Krishna is saying, I am not that kind of bala. Well, Krishna is everything. Krishna is not saying so. Take it in context. It's not like Krishna is saying, I am only the good kind of bala or strength and not the bad kind. That's not, he is both. That's the reality. But he is saying, you should remember me in that kind of strength, which is not used to dominate over others or not used for sense gratification. That kind of strength, when you have, then think of me. That is the point, which in other words means, it's good to have strength, but it should never be used to dominate over others. And this verse is especially meant for the Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas are the warriors or the soldiers or the administrators. They should never misuse their power, because Krishna doesn't want it in that way. Kama Raga Vivarjitam. Strength can be used for lust and desire, but that is not acceptable by Krishna. Then comes another very super important point, and this is about the relationship between man and woman. Dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamo asmi bharatarshabha. So dharma, it's not viruddho, it's aviruddha. Dharma aviruddha, that which is not against dharma. Bhuteshu means is. Kamo asmi bharatarshabha. I am the kama. Kama, Srila Prabhupada here is saying, I am the sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of the Bharatas, Arjuna, Bharatarshabha. So what is this saying? So Bhagavad Gita is saying that the union between man and woman is a good thing, as long as it is not against dharma. Dharma aviruddho. So Bhagavad Gita is not saying that there should not be, it's not saying everyone must be celibate. No, very much on the contrary, Bhagavad Gita is saying, yes, husband and wife should beget children. That is very much encouraged. And the dharma means the union between man and woman that occurs in the shelter or in the institution of marriage, not outside of marriage. That is first part. And the second part is that when the children are born, it is the duty of the parents to become good gurus, good teachers for the children. That is dharma aviruddha, not against dharma or aligned with dharma. Such union between man and woman is encouraged. Okay, and that is how society moves forward through generation after generation after generation of population. And there is nothing wrong in that, and that is sanctioned. Bhagavad Gita, therefore, does not um, preach celibacy for all. It does preach celibacy for sannyasis, for those who have renounced the material pleasures, but not for everyone. And in fact, um, if you go into the Srimad Bhagavatam, so what is another big reason? There is another very wonderful reason for parents to have children and train those children to become good devotees of God, good Krishna conscious, good children in bhakti. The reason for that is given in, for example, in Srimad Bhagavatam, that if in the next 21 generations of your family, if you're the root and you have 21 generations ahead of you, if anyone becomes a pure devotee of God, of Krishna, in any one of those 21 generations, anywhere, then all the ancestors upwards are liberated. So if you don't have children, how will you have this 21 generations ahead of you? So therefore you must, family, in family life, there should be children, but good Krishna conscious, God conscious children. And you should teach them that when they have children and their generation should all be Krishna conscious or God conscious. So I did a little, for fun, I did a little calculation. If at every level, at every generation, let's say you have 3 children, every generation has 3 children in your family tree, within 21 generations, there will be around 10 billion people. That's how much population will get created in 21 generations. Now you can see it's basically like casting a very wide net. At least one person within those 10 billion people may become a pure devotee, and then you will get liberated from the material world. So this is the benefit of having children. This is one of the benefits of having good Krishna conscious children. So and this, by the way, was mentioned by Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto, 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. He was, in fact, after Hiranyakashipu was killed, Hiranyakashipu was this big demon, and Prahlad is one of the greatest devotees of Lord Vishnu, but his father was a demon and was trying to kill Prahlad. Finally, through various arrangements, Narsinghadev, who is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, appeared and he killed Hiranyakashipu. And then Narsinghadev was very pleased with Prahlad, the young boy Prahlad. And he asked Prahlad for asking for a boon, to ask something. And the only thing that Prahlad asked, he asked for only 2 things. The first thing he asked was that my father should be forgiven for all his sinful activities and should be given liberation. Lord Nrsimhadev said he has already been liberated, not because he was killed at my hands. That's not the reason why he is liberated. He has been liberated because you are a pure devotee of mine. That is the reason why he has gotten liberated, and not only him, 21 generations above you have gotten liberated already. So that boon has already been fulfilled. Ask for something else. And then Prahlad, of course, asks, the only thing he asks for is, may I never forget you. He says that I am born in the family of demons, and by nature, in my DNA, there is demoniac nature. I'm a Daitya. I'm an asura, but still, and so it is highly possible that I may forget you sometime in the future. So please provide me this blessing that I may never forget you. And then Lord Nrsimhadev says that, oh, you will never forget me. And Prahlad continued his life as a great devotee of Lord Vishnu and Lord Nrsimhadev. So that is the story, and that is the context in which Nrsimhadev, who is none other than Lord Vishnu, is confirming that 21 generations of a pure devotee are liberated. So this is a very, very wonderful thing about Krishna consciousness or God consciousness. So far, so we covered till 7.11, and here a total of 14 examples have been given about how to perceive Krishna in everything. Anything and everything we do or see around us, we should see that Krishna is the unifying force within all that. And this gives us plenty of opportunity to remember Krishna in all our lives. Somebody in one of the previous batches, I think 2 or 3 years ago, asked me, this was an actual question. He was a badminton player. He asked me, it was a teenager. He said, how can I remember Krishna while playing badminton? We say you must remember Krishna all the time. I immediately used this verse, Balam Balavatam Cha Aham. Whenever you hit a nice shot in badminton, you should think, Krishna has given me the energy to hit such a nice shot. So like that, you can remember Krishna in seemingly any circumstance. Okay. Now in 7.12, Lord Krishna is giving a more general principle. Specific examples were given so far. Krishna generalizes the whole point. So he says, Ye chaiva satvika bhava rajasas tamasas chaye matta eveti tan vidhi natva aham teshu te mayi. The translation is, know that all states of being, be they goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. So, sattvika, rajasas, tamasas. So, sattva means goodness, rajasas means passion, and tamasa is ignorance, mode of ignorance. All these, matta eveti, all these are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature. For they, on the contrary, are within me. Natva aham teshu te mayi. Aham teshu te mayi. So natva aham, I am not in them. Teshu te mayi. They are within me. Okay. So by saying that all these three modes are within me, are manifested by my energy, Krishna has basically, in that one line, he has covered the entire creation. He's saying everything is within me. I am the essence of everything. So here I just wanted to share a little bit more about this aspect of the modes and how the modes result in matter. So let me share my screen once again. Okay. So this is a new slide that I had created. This wasn't there last year, but I spoke to it, but I thought it was better to kind of see it visually. So how does matter come from Krishna? And this has a very, high degree of correlation even to modern science. Anyway, I won't go there yet. I'll make a small correlation, but let's first see what this means. So from Krishna comes everything. The first thing, now this is explained in little more detail in Srimad Bhagavatam, and a little more detail will be provided in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. From Krishna, the first thing when material creation occurs, so this is about material creation, the first thing that comes is the unmanifested three modes. Am I sharing the screen? Can you see this chart here or this little arrow diagram? Okay, great. Thank you. So the first thing that comes is unmanifested three modes. These are the modes, the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. In some kind of a, now this is complex. I won't be able to explain it in great detail like a scientist. This is all uncharted territory from the standpoint of modern science and everything. So the best we can do, or at least I can do, is to give some sense of it, but you know, it's just impossible to stitch the details to an extent where you can make sense of it and completely reconcile with our current understanding of science. So the first material element that gets created is what is known as the unmanifested modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. That is the source from which all material elements come. So it is goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now you can see that these are something very abstract. This is not something that sounds like matter. Goodness, passion, ignorance, but matter is born from these. So goodness, passion, and ignorance, these abstract things give rise to matter. How? There are two steps described. One is, the first step is this transforms into what is called as non-manifest total material energy. And then by force of time, it transforms into manifest total material energy, which is known as Mahat Tattva. And that is where we see the elements such as air, water, ether, fire, air, and ether. What is it? Bhumir, Apa, Anala, Vayu, Kha. That is, those are the elements within the Mahat Tattva, which are then further exploited or used by living entities. So this is how the transformation occurs. So we see that from Krishna comes his energy. Krishna says these are his 8 separated energies. So matter is also energy. And in its unmanifested form, it is these abstract entities called goodness, passion, and ignorance. And the semblance to science here is that it's hard to explain, and it may be inaccurate, but all I can say is in all the theories of the origin of the universe, the Big Bang, and there is a more sort of a recent theory called the theory of inflation, etc., where in the beginning there is only energy, there is no matter. And from energy, some kind of material, basic material elements are synthesized. And then, so things like protons, neutrons, etc., and then they coalesce together to form further elements, starting from hydrogen and then helium and so on. So the fact that in the beginning there was energy, and before that there was, you know, pre-Big Bang or whatever, and even there was no time before that. They say that there is no time. Time starts at t equals 0, which is a little bit after the Big Bang. Even time comes into existence a few whatever milliseconds, microseconds, something after the Big Bang. So that, I don't know, if I see this picture and I hear those statements, there seems to be some correlation. I have no idea what it is. All the, you know, young scientists here on our call can potentially take this up and try to see where this is going, and hopefully find some correlation between Vedic science and modern science. That would be a great contribution to please our acharyas and to please Lord Krishna. So that's how much I would like to say on that. So Krishna is saying that I am the 3 modes, but he is not limited to that. It will again be a wrong understanding to say that Krishna is limited to the 3 modes. Krishna is, the modes are coming, Krishna is the origin of the 3 modes, but he is a lot more. And that is being clarified in the next verse. So let's go to 7.13. So in 7.13, Krishna says, Tribhir gunamayir bhavair ebhi sarvam idam jagat mohitam nabhi janati mam ebhya param avyayam. So Krishna is saying, those who don't, so I am the three modes. The three modes are coming from me. Tribhir gunamayir bhavair. So deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, or does not know me, who am above the modes. Param avyayam. I am above. Param means beyond or above. I am above the modes and inexhaustible. Avyayam. And those who do not know this, Krishna is saying, are deluded. Mohitam. Mohitam na bhi janati. Those who don't know, na abhi janati. Those who don't know this are mohitam, are deluded. Mohitam means they are enchanted by material understanding. They don't have the higher or the spiritual understanding. So here, basically Krishna is saying that I am above the modes. I am not a product of the modes. I am not below the modes. Now, this is not, Krishna is not, you, after hearing me and Bhagavad Gita and all, especially the translations by Srila Prabhupada, you might think this is pretty obvious, but that's not so obvious. There are so many sort of so-called branches of Hinduism, so-called Hinduism, I'm going to say, who believe that Krishna is a product, is a material, is just a human being, is a product of material energy, which is basically the three modes. The three modes are at the top. So if I were to share my screen again, they think that this pradhana, this is the modes, Krishna is somewhere in the middle here, either here or somewhere, or here even. That's what they think, that Krishna is coming from the modes. Whereas this verse is clearly saying that the modes are coming from me. So this is what they think. And a lot of people I have, I don't want to name such people or organizations or societies, but there are many out there that have this understanding. And I don't know how they explain these verses of the Bhagavad Gita. Maybe they just skip it. In fact, I was watching a YouTube video of one particular organization where they said, we are doing a seminar, a week-long seminar on 50 most important verses of Bhagavad Gita. And of course, no surprise, these verses were not part of it. And so were many, many verses, especially the ones that Krishna says, these verses are very important. In the 7th chapter, in the beginning, Krishna says, this is full knowledge I am giving you. In 7.2, Krishna says, I am going to disclose the full knowledge, realized, jnanam and vijnanam, theoretical and realized in full. Asheshati, ashesha, shesha means which has an ending. Ashesha means which has no ending, which means I'm going to give you the full knowledge. 0 verses from the 7th chapter were in that explanation. So Krishna is saying this is the highest knowledge, most complete knowledge. And in your 50 most important verses, you have 0 verses from the 7th chapter. How is that possible? So this is what is going on. And this is why I wanted to emphasize this point. Okay. One sec. Okay. Okay. Now we come to 14. So now this is the abhideya, the process. Now we were talking about sambandha. So Krishna is saying that everybody is within the 3 modes, but I am above the modes. That is what it was said in 13. That means everybody is, all of the living entities are within the material nature, therefore they are within the modes of material nature. Now he will say what is the power of these modes. So this verse 7.14 is a very, very, very important verse. And I will go so far and say that so far in Bhagavad Gita, till this point, this is the most important verse till this point. So if I were to consider all the verses from the beginning till 7.14, 7.14 is the most important. So please pay very, very careful attention about this verse. So we will go very slowly and very carefully and go line by line. So this verse first of all goes, Daivi hi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So let's see. So first Krishna is saying, Daivi hi esha gunamayi. This Daivi, this energy of mine, this material energy that I showed in the slides, this material energy of mine is Daivi, is divine. Daivi hi esha gunamayi. So, and the gunas are referring to the three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So that material energy is Daivi, is divine. And it is Mama Maya. It is his, the name of that energy is his Maya. That is what we call as Maya. So this energy is Maya. That's why we say that the whole world is Maya, because everything in the world is coming from these three energies, these three gunas: goodness, passion, and ignorance. That's the origin. And it is Duratyaya. Duratyaya means very hard to overcome. Now, why do you want to overcome it? Because as jivas, as living entities in this material creation, we are bound in this cage of Maya. This Maya is like kind of keeping us away, preventing us from going outside of Maya and going to Krishna. And it is Duratyaya. Duratyaya means it's very hard to overcome. So to go to Krishna, we have to overcome Maya. That's the only way we can go to Krishna or get out of this material world. That is called mukti or moksha or liberation. So to get in all those, to get moksha, we have to get out of this Maya or this material world. And that is very difficult. Duratyaya. Okay. So first of all, Krishna is saying, this is my energy. And it is divine, Daivi. It's not Asuri. It's not something bad. It's divine. It's something good. And it is very powerful. And everybody is entangled or captured within it. So Krishna is almost giving a death sentence to everyone. He's saying, you are eternally captured in this Maya and there is no way to get out. That's like a, that leaves us very disappointed, or it's a very debilitating or disempowering statement. So what do we do now? We are eternally trapped. How do we get out of this world? Now in the second line, Krishna gives a solution, and that is the process. That is the abhideya. The process is mam eva ye prapadyante. Those mam eva ye prapadyante. Those who eva means certainly. So those who certainly, those who ye prapadyan, mama prapadyante. Prapadyante is again a very important word. Means surrender, and surrender not out of fear or force, but surrender out of love. So those who surrender to me, mam eva ye prapadyante, mayam etam tarantite. They can, taranti means cross. So they can cross over this Maya very easily. So the translation goes like this. This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. And it's called Maya, by the way. but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So at this point, I, I want to explain this a little bit more and spend a significant amount of time trying to go through what is the meaning of Maya, why is it divine, why is it a good thing, so to say, and why is it so strong, and how to overcome it. So, Maya, Krishna is saying, is my energy. Guna Mayi, my, and this is my energy. So, a wrong interpretation, like I said, would be that this Maya is something which does not belong to Krishna. It is like a barrier that is keeping us from going to Krishna, and neither we nor Krishna have any power over it. So, and Krishna is just hoping that somehow the living entities will fight the Maya, will somehow struggle against Maya, cross it. And when they cross it, Krishna will say, ah, great, you crossed Maya. Please come to me. Welcome to my world. That's not the case. Maya is not a competitor trying to keep us away from Krishna. It's not Krishna's competitor. It is Krishna's energy. So that gives rise to the question, if Krishna wants all of us to come to him, why did he create this Maya? Why did he create this barrier or this entanglement to prevent us, that is preventing us to come to him? That could be the question that can be asked. So, the answer to that is that Maya is Krishna's energy, and we originally chose to come to the material world to enjoy separately from Krishna. So Maya is not, it is wrong to view at Maya, to look at Maya as something that is preventing us from going to Krishna. We willingly entered Maya and are unwilling to exit it. That is the problem. That's the real problem. An example is, it's very hard for all of us to get up from bed after, when we are very tired, go to sleep, and we have to get up out of bed. It's very, very hard to get up, right? So, is the bed holding us from getting up? Is the bed preventing us from getting up? No, it would be wrong to say that the bed is causing us to stay in bed. It is our willingness to stay in bed that is causing us to be in the bed. To emphasize this point, one time, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, who is the guru of Srila Prabhupada, some of his disciples were not able to understand this part, that how is it that we are willingly engaged in Maya and unwilling to come out, not the other way around, that Maya is captivating us. So they were going to go for Sankirtan somewhere, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj and his disciples. And they had set a time to go, and the disciples were ready and they were waiting for Maharaj to come. And Maharaj wouldn't come, and usually he is very punctual. So they were getting late. So they went and saw that Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, was holding a tree like this, clinging a tree and not leaving the tree. And they said, Maharaj, we are getting late. Can you know, why are you holding the tree? He said, I am not holding the tree. The tree is preventing me from coming. See, the tree is holding me. And they said, what are you saying? You're holding the tree. He said, no. Can't you see? I'm trying so hard to leave the tree, but the tree is not leaving me. And this dialogue went on for some time. And then the disciples understood that it is not Maya that is holding us. It is we who are holding on to Maya. So it is our choice, and we have been, it wasn't like this always. It has been a long phase of conditioning from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime that we have ended up in this kind of a programmed reaction to Maya. We have developed such a good taste for Maya that we have lost the taste to be with Krishna, even though the taste of being with Krishna is far, far superior than the taste we are experiencing being in Maya. So, um, when we started falling down into the depths of the material world, when we began, it wasn't like that. It is a very, very gradual process. We thought, okay, little more, let me enjoy a little more, then I'll go back up. I'll give up this sense enjoyment. And then the vicious cycle, the downward spiral starts. So the point is, the sooner we can begin to practice to get out of this Maya, the better it is for all of us. Now, this Maya is not always bad. If you think Maya is preventing us, or many people ask, when bad things happen, oh, I am in Maya. This Maya is, causing me to do these bad things. But the same Maya, the Maya is the material energy of Krishna. It is also causing all the good things in our life. We don't remember that. We think everything that is good that is happening is because of us. There is the verse in Bhagavad Gita 3.27 which says, Karta aham iti manyate. We think we are the doers, but we only think we are the doers when we get good results. Then we think, these good results happened because of my doing. But when we are unable to do something, or we fail to do something, we say, oh, Maya is so strong. I failed, or I couldn't overcome Maya. Then we attribute it to the strength of Maya of Krishna. So this Maya is is the energy of Krishna to facilitate our enjoyment that we wanted to enjoy, where we wanted to be the little Krishna in our own Vaikuntha. This Maya, like this, something we discussed earlier, is providing us the facility of creating a small Vaikuntha in which we can be the Lord. So we think I am the boss and everybody's job is to serve me. That arrangement is made by Maya. And the sooner we realize that being in this Maya sooner or later will bring to us suffering, because we will become more and more greedy, more and more hungry for that taste that we are getting, that it is not going to be possible for us to remain happy, because there'll be encroachment on other living entities' propensity to enjoy, and then there will be clashes. So like this, we will begin to degrade. Okay. Now, another point that I wanted to make was, why is Maya Duratyaya so strong? Why couldn't it be a little bit weaker so that we had a better chance to overcome it? And we all, at least, I have talked to many people, and I can see in my own life that Maya is really very strong. Otherwise, what is preventing us from very vigorously, very strongly performing Bhakti Yoga, or devotion with love to Krishna? It is Maya. We say, oh, should we spend some time in thinking about Krishna, doing japa of Krishna's name, or to sing or hear Srimad Bhagavatam? Should we do that? Or, oh, my friends are going for a movie, or my family or whatever friends want to watch a movie, let's do that. Usually we slip and go on the other side. Oh, let's just watch a movie. Krishna can wait. That is Maya. And that is the strength of Maya. Or you can call it, our willpower is not so strong. So all those things, the question is, why is Maya so strong? Why can't we overcome it? So actually, the answer is That because we have not invited Krishna's help in overcoming Maya. On our own, Maya is absolutely very strong. Krishna is here himself, he is saying, Mama Maya Duratyaya. Duratyaya, it's very hard to overcome. But he is giving the solution in the next line. Maam eva ye prapadyante Maya metam tarantite. Those who invite my help by loving surrender, then Maya becomes very weak. And then we can cross over it. So we don't need to increase our strength to overcome Maya. What we need to do is to diminish Maya's strength so that we can overcome it. And how do we diminish Maya's strength? By inviting Krishna's help. A very beautiful example is given to demonstrate this. The relative strength and weakness of Maya. So let's say you want to go and meet your friend. He's a very rich person. Okay. So you go to his house and you knock the door. And he has a big German Shepherd dog. And the moment you knock on the door, the German Shepherd dog comes at you barking. Now, luckily, there is a door between, a door between you and the shepherd, the dog, but he is barking like anything. And you wish that the door remains closed, because if the door opens, he is going to attack you and devour you. You have no chance against that dog. Okay? So that dog is like Maya. And you wanted to see your friend, and that friend is Krishna. So now this Maya is preventing you from opening the door and going in and meeting your friend, as in Krishna. So what do? You cannot overcome this German Shepherd dog. You cannot increase your strength at all. He is definitely more powerful than you. So what do? So Maam eva ye prapadyante. So what do? You take out your cell phone, you call your friend. Let's say the friend's name is John. Hey, John, I'm here to see you, but your dog is barking at me so strongly, I can't come in. Can you please come and take care of your dog so I can come in? John says, oh, great. Thank you for coming. Let me come down and take care of my dog. Your friend comes down and he just looks at the dog, just has to look. He doesn't have to fight the dog. He doesn't have to do anything. He just looks at the dog. Now the dog is an obedient dog of the master. In the same way, Maya, Krishna says, Mama Maya, this Maya is my energy. So when we request Krishna's help, like this person looks at the dog quietly sits down. Now he doesn't bark at all. So like that, when we invite Krishna's help, then Krishna says, my dear Maya, don't disturb this devotee. Let this devotee come to me. And Maya completely vanishes. It disappears from the scene. And then what do? Then you can come in. And when you come in, now the dog becomes your friend. The dog even starts licking your hands and, starts jumping and playing with you, which means that when devotees of Krishna or devotees of God request Krishna's interference, then Maya becomes a servant of the devotees as well. Not only becomes is a servant of Krishna, but from being somebody who is troubling the devotees, becomes a supporter or a friend of the devotees. And Maya helps the devotees. So that is why Krishna says that, this Maya for the devotees is a good thing because it protects the devotees. So many places devotees have so many, apparent problems, like Hanumanji wanted to go and find Mother Sita. He was able to use his Mayavi Shakti. And Maya helped him to jump over the ocean and go find Mother Sita, because Hanumanji had a desire to serve Lord Ram, and Maya helped him. So for devotees, Maya helps. But for those who want to go away from Krishna, Maya is like, now you have to do everything. So as long as you are following the rules, Maya will be fine. But if you go here or there, if you deviate, then Maya is not going to be helpful. So Maya is like a strict tutor. The purpose of Maya is to make us realize that we need to be very well behaved citizens. Our desires to enjoy sense gratification should not be so much to the extent where we do sinful activities. And then we are in this cycle of birth and death. We can go up, we can do pious activities, we will go up to heavenly planets, enjoy, come back to this earthly planet, again do pious activities, go up. So we will be in the cycle of dharma, artha, kama. Dharma, artha, kama. Dharma, artha, kama. That moksha stage will never come. So we follow the principles of dharma, which means we lead a pious life. Then we get artha, means we get the facilities. And then we get kama, means we can enjoy our desires. And then when we enjoy our desires, once we are done, then we go back to the stage of dharma. Oh, again, I have to do pious activities. So dharma, artha, kama, dharma, artha, kama, we stay in this cycle. And in this cycle, there are pleasures and pains both. So if you want to stay in this cycle of pleasure and pain in this material world, then no need for mam eva ye prapadyante. No need to surrender to Krishna. You can continue to enjoy the cycle. But if there is a desire to get rid of the pain from the material world, then the solution is mam eva ye prapadyante, and then you can cross Maya. Maya metam tarantite. So the purpose of Maya is to show us a direction to go towards Krishna, that there is nothing in this material world that is so enjoyable. One day, we will all hopefully realize that this whole material world, the suffering is worse than the pleasure. So ultimately, net, the desire should arise. The purpose of Maya is to make us realize that I want to get out of this material world and go to a place which is far, far happier and blissful for me. And that place is with Krishna. That is the purpose of Maya. Krishna is a very loving father, but he has hired this strict tutor to make us disciplined. That is Maya. Sometimes when a father is very loving, he cannot discipline the child himself. So he says, I cannot discipline the child. Let me hire a strict tutor. He will do it on my behalf. That is Maya. So Maya is acting in that way. Now, another question that can be asked is that, why does Maya always give me so many bad choices? There seems to be so few good choices. If I want to sit down and think about Krishna, sing his bhajan, do some japa, read Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many other alternatives in my life that show up. Oh, I have to take care of my emails. My kid is asking me to go to a movie. My friends are asking me to go to the bar. All these distractions are there, which are irresistible. And to think of Krishna is just a narrow set of options. And all these distractions are so strong and so many. Why is it that way? So that question is not much different from saying, why is Maya so powerful? But the thing is, we have over time developed the taste for so many things for our sense enjoyment. For pure devotees or for devotees of Krishna, also such allurements are there. But they see, oh, I can do so many things which are for Krishna. I can sing for Krishna. I can cook for Krishna. I can read Krishna's books. I can go talk about Krishna with others. I can dress Krishna in the temple with clothes. I can do so many things about Krishna. Why should I go and do this sense enjoyment? So for a devotee, the options to serve Krishna are far more. So it's not that Maya offers us a lot of options that are taking us away from Krishna. There are just options. It is about what kind of taste we have developed, which makes us feel there are more options or less options. Okay, it's our taste. Like I am vegetarian. Okay, if I go to McDonald's restaurant, how many options do I have? Hmm? Probably zero or maybe one. Just some maybe juice or some soda. That's probably the only option I have. But if you go to the menu, look at the menu of McDonald's, it's a pretty big menu. But I don't have a taste for anything like that. So for me, the options are zero. It doesn't mean that there's a lack of options. It's what we have developed the taste for tells us how many options we feel are in front of us. There was a friend of mine, and he said, I only eat meat. That's the only thing I eat. And we were doing a project somewhere in California. We met for a meeting, and I went to a vegetarian restaurant. Now, I didn't know that till that day. Otherwise, we would have gone separately. So, and he also didn't know, so he went along with me. And when he saw the menu, for me, there were so many options. He said, I have no options here. I cannot eat anything because there's no meat here in the menu. So it was the opposite for him. Because his taste is different, my taste is different, it does not mean that there is lack of options. It depends on what tastes we have developed that make us feel that there are so many options on one side or so many options on the other side. So it is wrong to say that why does Maya offer us so many options to go away from Krishna and so few options to go towards Krishna? That's a wrong statement. Hopefully I have given an example or have explained that why that is not the case. Okay. So I'm just going through my notes to see if there's other things that I want to discuss about Maya. Okay, so there are a few more things, but these are topics that we go deeper into when Q&A comes. So I will leave it for any potential Q&A that comes that we will go into, but I think this is a good enough discussion about Maya. So if you want to review this, if you want to, go over it again, I know I have shared a lot of things. You can go and listen to the recording or the videos on YouTube, etc., and review what the discussion about Maya is. Now, the purpose of Maya, as I said earlier, is to make us to lovingly surrender to Krishna. That is the purpose of Maya. There is no other purpose. And therefore, for those who are already surrendered, Maya is a friend. For those who are resisting Krishna, Maya appears to be a barrier. Okay. So what is this surrender? To make us surrender to Krishna. What is this surrender? That is the question. What is the meaning of surrender? Prapadyante, mam eva ye prapadyante. So for that, I want to go to this verse from, let me share my screen. Can you see the screen here? Yeah, okay. So this verse is explaining the 6 limbs of surrender. This is giving us a very clear understanding of what is surrender. And this is the understanding received by Srila Sanatana Goswami from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself, and he appeared and gave all this wonderful knowledge to his 6 primary disciples, who are the 6 Goswamis. Not exactly. Jiva Goswami, for example, is a younger one among the 6, and he was a student further of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. But anyway, this is the instruction that was received by Sanatana Goswami. So this is also mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 22.100. So let me go there. It's always, I feel better by looking directly at Veda base. So I'll go to Veda base And let me show you here. It is CC stands for Chaitanya Charitamrita. Madhya Leela, there are three Leelas or three parts in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adi Leela, Madhya Leela, and Antya Leela. Adi means beginning, Madhya is the middle, Antya is the ending part. This is in Madhya Leela, chapter 22, verse 100. So we will find that. So we'll go to library, Chaitanya Charitamrita, we'll click here. You see Adi Leela, Madhya Leela, Antya Leela. So we'll go to Madhya Leela, chapter 22, verse number 100. So we will go to 100. And here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing the six limbs, Shad Vidha. These are the six processes or the six limbs of Sharanagati. Sharana. Sharana is surrender. It's a synonym for Prapadyante. Sharanam and Prapadyante are synonyms. So these are the six processes of Sharana or surrender. What are those six things? So we'll talk in detail about the first two and go more quickly over the next four. The first two are very, very, very important. It starts with Anukulyasya Sankalpaha Pratikulyasya Varjanam. It means that Anukulyasya Sankalpaha. You must take a sankalpa. You must take a vow. Sankalpa means a vow. To accept anukulya. Anukulya means that is something that is favorable. Anukula means favorable. Favorable to whom? Now here that is not written directly, but the meaning is anukula to Krishna. So whatever is favorable to Krishna, that you accept. You take a vow, you take a sankalp to accept everything favorable to Krishna. And varjanam, varjanam means reject. Everything that is pratikulyasya, that is unfavorable to Krishna or unfavorable in developing the relationship, loving relationship with Krishna. So whenever you are doing something or taking some step, taking any action in life, always think, will my action, if Krishna were standing here, now for that you must a little bit understand what pleases Krishna, what Krishna wants, what he likes, what he doesn't like. Some understanding should be there. But when you have a general understanding, you should be able to use this as a test. If Krishna was standing here, would my action please Krishna or would it displease him? If you think it will please Krishna, you do that. Go forward, accept it. Sankalpaha. If you think it will displease Krishna, you reject it. Varjanam. So that is a litmus test. Now, a lot of children are given this test in school. Don't do anything which you cannot do in front of your parents, right? That's one of the common teachings given in school. You can do anything, you say anything, you don't say bad words to each other. How do you know what's a bad word, what's not a bad word? Then they say, if you can say it while your parents are watching, then fine. If you think you can't say it, then not fine. That the children understand very well. Somehow they understand that. So like that, we must develop an understanding what is favorable actions or thoughts towards Krishna, what is unfavorable, and accept those that are favorable and reject those that are unfavorable. This is very, very important verse. The next one is Rakshishyati iti Vishwaso. Again, very important. We will talk in more detail in the 9th chapter. That Krishna will always Raksha. Raksha means protect. So Rakshishyati iti Vishwaso, that Krishna will always protect me, having this Vishwas. Vishwas means strong belief or confidence or faith. Having this very strong conviction that Krishna will protect me. Rakshishyati. So no fear in doing the right thing. Sometimes you may feel, oh, if I do the wrong thing, my life will be easy. If I do the right thing, my life will be hard. Isn't that many times the case? Oh, I know Krishna will be, happy if I did this, but it will cause, it will make my life harder. then must have that conviction, no, Krishna will protect me. He will give me the strength to tolerate whatever comes. Krishna will protect me. Ultimately, I will be fine. Rakshishyati iti vishwaso. Then, goptritve varnam tatha atma nikshepa karpanye sadvidha sharanagati. So, goptritve varnam tatha means that having that understanding that Krishna is our guardian. Goptritve. So, and having the acceptance of the Lord as one's guardian or master, that Krishna is watching over us. He will not let others do anything bad to us. So, kind of similar to Rakshishyati iti Vishwaso. And then Atma Nikshepa means complete self surrender, not over endeavoring, not trying to manipulate our way into a result that we desire. Leaving our life in the hands of Krishna, letting Krishna choose what is best for us. Do our part, but don't overdo. There is a line to be drawn, and this comes with practice. Where to draw the line, being Krishna conscious, how much effort to put, and you say, okay, rest, Krishna will take care. And usually the line is where it begins to affect your Krishna consciousness. Remember this. So Krishna is not asking us to be lazy dumbos who don't do anything. That's not the meaning of this, that leave everything to Krishna, I am just sitting and twiddling thumbs. That's not the case. We must put in our effort, but not overdo it. And the line is when it begins to encroach on our practice of Bhakti Yoga. So as long as our consciousness, Krishna consciousness, our God consciousness, our absorption in Krishna is not disturbed, put in the effort, but not so much that it begins to damage or impact our absorption in Krishna. That's the line of Atma Nikshepa. Let nothing affect your devotional activities, your devotional services, your love and devotion to Krishna. If you are beginning to think more about it, oh, that person was supposed to do this and he didn't do it yet. I have already sent him 3 texts and 2 missed calls and emails and all that. Now what should I do? I should go to his house. Let me find out his address and this and that. And your mind is going da 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 da, and you're not, and all this thing, you are unable to focus on Krishna. You forget Krishna. What would Krishna want me to do in this case? And all those thoughts don't come in your mind. That means you are overdoing it. So I hope I have explained or given some sense of what it means to do enough, but beyond that, leave the rest to Krishna. That is Atma Nikshepa. And then Karpanye. Karpanye means being humble, not being a aggressive, to being in the mode of goodness, being a good, humble, gentle person, not too aggressive, not boisterous, not having any of those kind of mode of passion kind of qualities. So that these 6 things are surrender. This is prapadyante. Even if you follow 1 or 2 out of these 6, you will get a very clear understanding of what is surrender. And Krishna will help you to get a better understanding through your experiences and your realizations. So this is surrender. Atma Nikshepa Karpanye. These are the 6 limbs of surrender that Krishna is talking about in Prapadyante. So this verse is very important. Now, I just want to share, I'm still sharing my screen, I believe. And towards the end, I'm going to go, these are my usual slides that I have been using with some modifications and additions over time. There is a slide that I have, which is 40 verses from Bhagavad Gita. So 40 nice, important verses that you can memorize, that, very nice to remember. I mean, of course, every verse is great, but if you have to want to have a smaller selection, I have a smaller selection and some more super important verses to remember. And within that list, this is one of them. Where is it? Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulyasya varjanam. Right here, this verse. And this verse is right in the Bhagavad Gita purport. Srila Prabhupada has mentioned almost all the important verses that are suitable for us for our devotional practices in his purports of Bhagavad Gita. That's why the purports of Srila Prabhupada are so important. So if you look at this verse from Bhagavad Gita 18.66, there Srila Prabhupada has mentioned this verse. So we'll go to Bhagavad Gita chapter 18. One of the most important verses of the whole Bhagavad Gita is verse number 66, where Krishna says, the Sharanam, the word is there, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. So this word Sharanam is there. Come to my Sharan. Surrender to me with love. That is the meaning of Sharanam. And that, in that purport, Srila Prabhupada has given this verse. Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyati iti vishwaso goptritve varnam tatha atmanikshepa karpanye shadvidha saranagatihi. So this verse is right here. Sanatan Goswami later quoted it in a book that he wrote called Hari Bhakti Vilas. And this verse was originally communicated to Sanatan Goswami by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which I showed you in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So like that, this information is coming down from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna, all the way to us through Sanatan Goswami, through Srila Prabhupada, and to us. So this is a lot of people ask me, what do you mean by surrender? Okay, I'm willing to surrender. Now what? What do I do next? This is what you do. Start with this. And then we will have a discussion after 6 months you have tried it out. Then we can go into more details of what else can be done. But these 6 limbs of surrender themselves are very, very wonderful to practice. So start with this practice. Please take it on as homework to practice this. Please practice the process of surrendering to Krishna by following few things from this 6 verses or 6 limbs of surrender. Okay. So to summarize, surrender is not passive. It's not like, okay, I have surrendered, now I'm sitting. I have surrendered. What are you doing? I have surrendered. Why are you not saying anything? Because I have surrendered. Can you do this for me? How can I do anything? I have surrendered. Go ask the person who I surrendered to. He will do everything. That's not the case. Surrender is active. There is action involved in surrender. It's not passive. It means giving up our will and accepting Krishna's will. Now, when you begin practicing in the mood of surrender, you will be able to hear. I promise you, you will realize what is Krishna's will. You will begin to realize that. So please practice. If you don't practice this with a genuine heart, then you will have no understanding, and then you will be left with a question, oh, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't work, this is all just jargon and is not applicable to me. So sincerely, please practice, and I promise you that you will see Krishna's reciprocation. So surrender is giving up our will, accepting Krishna's will, harmonizing our desires with Krishna's desires, not asking Krishna to harmonize his desires with ours. I want $1 million, Krishna, can you please give it to me? Krishna says, no, it's going to do you harm. You will become more lazy. You will become more corrupt if I give you. You say, no, you do what I am saying. Please give me $1 million. Please, please, please. Like Hiranyakashipu, he says, give me power, make me immortal. What happened after that? He became the biggest demon and had to be killed. So we must harmonize our desires with Krishna and not ask Krishna to harmonize his desires to ours. And one of the great, very, very good definitions of surrender, or of humility within surrender, is the following: how to generate that humility. And uh, one of the very, very one, there could be others, but this is just one which I found super, super inspiring to me. What is the meaning of being humble? The meaning, now pay attention, pay very careful attention. At least this was extremely inspiring to me. I hope it's inspiring to you. It will make it clear to you what is the meaning of being humble. The understanding is, the meaning of humble is, let us who are the students of Bhagavad Gita not become the cause of someone else to lose his faith on Krishna. Okay? We as students of Bhagavad Gita should not become the cause of someone else losing his faith on Krishna. In that mood of humility, we should become good association for others. So that is humility. So which means when people see us as students of Bhagavad Gita, they should say, wow, yeah, this person is really, he has changed, or he's really a nice person. I want to be with this person. We should become good association to others. People want to associate with us. We should become a good person. We should live the Bhagavad Gita. People should ask us, how did this change come in your life? And we should be able to answer through Bhagavad Gita. Like that, that is humility. And that requires us to lead a humble life. So try it on. These words will not make any sense unless you try it on. So try this on and see whether it applies to you, what meaning comes out of it for you. Try it on, okay? Okay, so we will stop here. There are a couple of questions that I want to take, and we will take those questions. Let's see. So first, there are a couple of questions here in the chat. I will take them subsequently. Let me first take the questions that are in from the last week. So we talked about this question last week, scary thoughts and dreams. Okay, now this is a very, very serious question that somebody has asked about detachment from family. So this person says that Bhagavad Gita mentions that we have to be detached to all materialistic things in order to make spiritual progress. That's true. Also, you have mentioned that attachment to people, family is also considered material. That's true as well. These relationships with family and friends are temporary. It's a bodily relationship. It's not an eternal relationship. The only eternal relationship is our relationship with Krishna. So yes, these are material relationships. I feel it is a little easier to be detached from things, but it is hard to be detached from family. Very true. That's absolutely true. So, by the way, am I sharing? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me share. Now am I sharing?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great. So, I feel it is a little easier to get detached from things, but it's hard to be detached from family. Does it mean that we are not true devotees of Krishna or in any spiritual path unless we let go of attachment to the family? Can you please explain how to be detached from family? Can we be attached to Krishna and our family simultaneously? I think this is a very nicely, very well framed question. I just love this question. Whoever wrote this was very, very nicely written. So let me answer all these points. So very quickly, does it mean that we are not true devotees of Krishna or in the spiritual path unless we let go of our attachment? So let us first understand what is attachment. First, let's do some general understanding, and then we'll answer these specific questions from there. So attachment and detachment, this whole concept of attachment, detachment, we dealt with in great detail in chapters 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you know, it would be good if you go back and review those chapters, read the purports of Srila Prabhupada, read the translations of the verses, and go back and listen to the lectures again. Detachment, Krishna has repeatedly says, is not giving up things, but giving up the propensity to enjoy the results of the things, of our actions or relationships or whatever. The propensity to enjoy for our sense gratification, that is attachment. To have that propensity to enjoy. When you give up the propensity to enjoy for sense gratification, that is detachment, not actually getting detached from those things. So it is that feeling of lordship in relationships with family, friends. It is that uh, feeling of lordship over others. You are mine, they are mine. And if there is something that they do that we don't like, it causes us suffering and pain in our heart. Why did he do this? It means he doesn't love me. It means he doesn't like me. I did so much for him. It means he has no gratitude for me. I did so much this, that. All these conversations go on in the mind. And it is our expectation that they should behave in a certain way. That expectation that they should behave in a certain way is our attachment. And detachment means not having that expectation, but yet you being a very good person to them, but doing that in a unconditional way. So detachment is not external, it is internal in matters of relationship. That's the first thing. That is attachment and detachment. It's not that I will start to live away from you or go away from you. Now, in some cases, that may be needed. If the relationship is very toxic at a physical level, then maybe there need to be physical separation. But we are not there. That's not the question here. So, and the second part is that attachment and detachment is not black and white. It's a band of gray. So you start wherever you are in the relationship, build some level of detachment. There are several levels or stages of detachment. So start with, like I had said earlier, start with being over obsessed with their acceptance of every action of yours. Stop over analyzing. Let go of being over obsessed. Don't think too much what they are thinking about you, because then it is all about you. Unconditional relationship is you try to serve them without over analyzing or without thinking, are they realizing how much I'm serving them? Gaining their acknowledgement, gaining their acceptance of us. Don't have breakdowns on each instance where their actions appear as rejection to you. Okay? So you have to see what these various levels are and how much you are attached to someone and all. And it's different for every different person in your life. To some people, you are way more attached. To some people, you're not. So start with the less important relationships. It's much easier to practice detachment in those areas and then slowly, gradually apply it in more important areas or relationships in your life. Now, detachment in this sense is not bad. It's not like I'm giving up, I'm stopping to love the other person. In fact, this is a higher stage of love, to love unconditionally, to love without having a constant analysis of what will he give me back. How will he return my favor? When you let go of that return of favor attitude, that is real love, that is real relationship at a material level. Okay, so first of all, relationship is very different with different people, and within a given person, with a given person, it could have different levels. So you have to decide what those levels are. So the answer to this question, does it mean that we are not true devotees of Krishna? So that's not the case. Krishna sees this person is trying to build detachment in his life, in his relationships. He will, he will be very happy when he sees that that is happening in our lives. We are doing that in our lives slowly. So it's not a binary answer. Krishna will appreciate our initiative, our actions that we start to take. The second part is there was something else I wanted to say. Mm, it's not only about detachment. Okay. The other thing is, when you are detached in your relationships, that's not the sole purpose. The other half is to create attachment, to generate attachment to Krishna. If you only detached, maybe that will give you happiness in this life, but that is not bhakti yoga. That could be karma yoga or dhyana yoga or some other form of yoga. But bhakti yoga truly is to replace that detachment with attachment to Krishna. So always remember that. So then the next question, I think we answered this a little bit, how to be detached from family. I think we discussed this a little bit already, but we will talk more about it. And then the third question is, can we be attached to Krishna and our family simultaneously? So first of all, so the answer to this one is a big yes. Yes, it is possible to be attached to Krishna and our family simultaneously. But this attachment to family is not in a sense of our sense gratification. Otherwise, if that is the case, then it will become like that story of the second stone carrier. I hope you have all heard that story of the three stone carriers. You have? I don't know. For a few weeks, I have been saying that. Can I see like a show of hands of by raising your hand in the Zoom? How many of you have heard that story from the audio? Please raise your hands. Hmm? I don't see anybody raising their hands.
Go to participants and then.
You can go to where?
There was a yes button there.
Somewhere.
Yes and no when you go to participants.
Two people I see have raised their hands out of 78. I see 4 hands now. How are you raising hands? Can you share, one of you?
There's a icon called reactions. I think that's there.
Okay.
Participants chat, share screen, record, and reactions.
You are a co-host, so you may have different view. So don't go by that. Okay, so looks like few people have seen it. I request, and maybe others are not able to raise their hands in the Zoom. That's fine. So I strongly suggest that you go and listen to that very nice story called The Three Stone Carriers, which I have uploaded in the Google Drive, tinyurl.com/GitaPDX. Let me write that down here just so that, if somebody is watching on YouTube, they can see. tinyurl.com/GitaPDX. This is the link. Okay, so you can go to this link and within that, you will find, it's a Google Drive, you will find something called The Three Stone Carriers. It's a MP3 audio file. It's a 15-minute story. Very nice. Go listen to that. Okay. So, this attachment to family is not purely at a sense gratification level. It is at the level of Krishna consciousness. If it is at the sense gratification level, then it's like you're putting your legs in two boats. You're trying to do Krishna consciousness as well as material sense gratification and that usually leads to a disaster. So that is not recommended. But that is not usually the case. The best case is where you make your family also Krishna conscious. You inspire your family members to also take up this. Everybody is hungry for Krishna. Everybody is facing material problems, whatever the problems may be. If you're the wife, I'm sure if you ask your husband, he says, oh, my office work is a big mess. How I wish I could get relief from there. The husband can ask the wife, oh, this whole kitchen work or taking care of children or this other whatever, it's a big, there's just so much suffering, so much pain, so much hardships. So everybody is facing hardships in their life, and through Krishna consciousness, through Bhakti Yoga, one can very, very, very nicely get relief from these material problems and gain the sweet, experience the sweetness of love with Krishna. So nobody ideally wants to not have Krishna consciousness. They are just waiting to be invited or pulled a little bit. So in a family, you can make your family members also Krishna conscious. Best is if the whole family can serve Krishna. If Krishna is in the center of your family, then you can have a great family together serving Krishna. Krishna would very much love not only you to be Krishna conscious, but if you can make your family Krishna conscious, Krishna would love that. It's like not only getting one son back, we are all children of Krishna, but getting 4 other sons back. So you can be the catalyst of Krishna consciousness in your family. And then as a family, you can live happily, enjoy together in Krishna consciousness. You don't have to part. You don't say, you do your thing, I do my thing. That's not the case. And I have seen personally, so many people who take up Krishna consciousness, sooner or later, their whole family is taking it up. And that's just the best situation. I would say that 90 to 95%, that would be the case. And in that case, if you can make that happen, then can we be attached to Krishna and our family simultaneously? Yes, absolutely. You have to do as a family, something you have to do together. What does it mean to be together as a family? You go to movies, you go to parks. Like this, you can go to Krishna's temple, you can do these kind of classes, you can do all Krishna's activities together. What is a family? Doing things, enjoyable things together. That is a family. So if that enjoyable thing together is Krishna, do that and you will have a happy family, you will support each other. Very few cases are there where the other family member is not supportive. They say, okay, I'm not interested. You do your thing, I'll do my thing. You go to temple, I'll go to the bar. That very rarely happens, but maybe there is, it's not impossible that may be the case. And even rare is the possibility where they stop you. They say, you will also not go to Krishna. You will come with me. Now, in those very rare cases, I would say they are less than 1%, such cases. Then you have to think very strongly, where is your choice? You want to go away from Krishna, where your family members want to drag you, or you want to go towards Krishna. And then you have to give up your family, because your family is giving you a mutually exclusive choice. They are giving you an impossible choice. They are telling you, me or Krishna, choose. That happens very rarely, but it could happen. And in that case, yes, you have to think very hard, what is your priority? And from Bhagavad Gita's standpoint, I would say, do not give up Krishna at all. There is this wonderful, for instructive story or pastime Leela of Lord Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam, 23rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, called the wives of the Brahmanas. These Brahmanas were not favorable to Krishna, but their wives were pure devotees of Krishna. So one time, Krishna sent his friends to the Brahmanas asking for food. Can you please give us some food? We are in the forest. We are grazing the cows, herding the cows. The cows are grazing, so we are herding the cows. Can you please give us some food? We are hungry. and the Brahmanas ignore them. They don't listen to them. But when the same cowherd boys then go to the wives of the Brahmanas, the wives, they run with all the food that they had in the house. They run to Krishna, say, Krishna, please take this food. And some of their husbands said, if you go to Krishna, never come back. Choose me or Krishna. For some reason, those Brahmanas, those husbands were very, very against Krishna. Still, the wives left them. They said, hell with you. If that is what you are telling me to do, I choose Krishna. What is the point of choosing somebody who is demanding that you stay away from Krishna? So be very clear. Now, this requires a very high level of devotion. But of course, before one gets to that stage, you must do everything possible to make them also Krishna conscious. Take them along with you. That should be the first thing. And the second thing is to tolerate. Practice your own Krishna consciousness. Let them do what they are doing, if that is the situation, but you continue to practice. But if it gets to a point where they're an active impediment in your progress in Krishna consciousness, then you have to be very clear what you want to do with your life. And then, you have to either somehow practice Krishna consciousness without giving up their association, or if need be, give up their association. But that requires a very, very strong level of devotion to Krishna. So first, come up to that level. It should not be a matter of show. Oh, see, I gave up my family members because I love Krishna. And after 6 months, you're also found in the bar with somebody else. So that should not be a matter of like a checkbox. Oh, I gave up my family for Krishna. That should not be the mood to show off to others. See what all I have given up. You were anyway planning to give up your husband or wife. You took Krishna's name and you gave them up, and now you are with someone else. That's just pretense. That's hypocrisy. That's not good at all. Okay. So first you must have that very strong hankering, that strong desire to develop a loving relationship with Krishna. Then one can take such a strong step. Srila Prabhupada took that step. His wife was was actively not allowing Srila Prabhupada to follow Krishna consciousness. So he had to give up that relationship. It's mentioned in Prabhupada Leelamrit, the biography of Srila Prabhupada. So in general, to summarize, all material relationships are temporary, and many of the relationships give pain and suffering in various levels. Some give pain and suffering 10% of the time, maybe 1% of the time. Some give suffering 90% of the time, whatever it is. If you are getting no suffering, all enjoyment 100% of the time, you should feel very lucky. So all relationships have some suffering. The sooner you realize that these material relationships, end of the day, are nothing but will lead to a suffering. And if not anything else, the relationship is temporary. It will definitely end when one of you dies. This material relationship will not carry beyond this body. That much is sure. The sooner you realize, the better it will be. And the sooner you replace that hankering for this relationship with that person or with your family, with a relationship with your true family member, your true friend, which is Krishna, the better it is, the faster you will make progress in Krishna consciousness, and the happier and blissful you will be in your life. Okay, so try to realize this, try to practice it. But again, these are some of the extreme cases. The best case is where the family together serves Krishna happily together. Okay, and there are far more number of examples of that scenario than anything else. Okay, so whoever asked this question, does that person have a follow-up? Do you want to speak up, or you can send me a question over the anonymous form? That's fine. But did this help, this explanation to this question? It's a very serious, very nice question. I want to make sure that it has been explained to your satisfaction.
Yes, actually, you explained it so beautifully. Like this question has been lingering in my mind for such a long time. Thinking that, like, should I give up, like attachment to family, not like in a physical sense, but in my mind, in order to be attached to Krishna. But you explained it so beautifully that it gives me an understanding on how to go about now.
Do you
Thank you
have
very
any
much.
counter questions or follow up?
No, not at all. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm happy that you're satisfied.
Thank you.
Okay. There was one more question here, which I'll give a short answer. If everyone comes from Krishna, where do demons come from? Who are they? Or a flip side is, do all the gods, and I think this person meant demigods, the devatas, also come from Krishna? So yes, everyone, the demigods, the demons, they're all coming from Krishna. We just read today, everything comes from Krishna. Bijam aham sarva bhutanam, or Jivan aham sarva bhutanam. I am the life force in every living entity, and demigods are jivas and demons are also jivas. So yes, everyone comes from Krishna. They are simply a product of their past conditioning. The demons are those who have degraded sufficiently into sense gratification, into too much self-centeredness, and that is what causes them to hanker for that self-centeredness, for sense gratification, even at the cost of others. And that's what makes them demons. And the demigods are on the opposite side. They are serving Krishna. They are constantly thinking, Anukulyasya sankalpaha, what can I do which will please Krishna? And so the demigods are discharging their duties in various ways to serve Krishna. The demons are pratikulyasya sankalpaha. They are not pratikulyasya varjanam. They are pratikulyasya sankalpaha. They have taken a vow, I will do everything that Krishna does not like. So it's very simple. So that's a simple answer to that. Then there are some more questions on the chat. Let me see if I can take them quickly. Otherwise, I'll take them next time. Some people are not blessed intellectually or materially, etc. Does that mean Krishna is let to come close to them?
Yet.
I think it means yet to come close to them. No, that is not the case. So our material or intellectual disabilities, etc., are, like we studied in the previous chapters, are a result of our past actions, our karmic reactions. So there are things that we must have done in Gahana Karmano Gatihi 4.17. These, you may ask what I have done in the past. It's a very complex Gahana. It's very complex to understand karma. Gahana Karmano Gatihi. Even Bhishma Pitamaha, you should read the 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, canto 1, chapter 9. It is Bhishma Pitamaha who is saying that to understand the plan of Krishna is very hard. Only Krishna knows the plan best. We should not try to enter into Krishna's mind and see why I am suffering, why did he make me do this? All these things are just a waste of time. So we should not think like that. We should make the best of the facilities we have got. It's not necessary to be intellectual or materially well to serve Krishna. Not at all. If you are intelligent, attribute it to Krishna. At a minimum, you are alive. You can breathe at a minimum. So attribute your livelihood, your being alive to Krishna. Thank you, Krishna. Every time you drive on the road and come back home safely, thank Krishna. There are so many dangers on the road. So you must thank Krishna for whatever you have and try to become a devotee of Krishna regardless. It's not that Krishna is not coming close. And once you become a devotee of Krishna, Krishna will begin to actively interfere in your lives, not to make you materially prosperous, but to make you spiritually prosperous. Absolutely, Krishna will interfere in your life. He will make your bhakti go forward by leaps and bounds. Okay? So don't worry about any impediments that may be there. Just consider them as past karmic reactions and try to serve Krishna regardless. So that would be the answer. It does not mean that Krishna is not close to them at all. At all. Next question is, what to do when people start to take advantage of our kindness and humility? Some people think our goodness and love is a weakness and people take advantage of this. So I will take this question up probably later. It's a long, deep question, but the short answer is, truly, if we are just being kind and humble, but not being Krishna conscious, that is one thing. Then yes, people can take advantage. True. But if we are humble and kind in Krishna consciousness, in Bhakti Yoga, then Krishna will protect us. There is no instance in all of Srimad Bhagavatam, all of Chaitanya Charitamrita, any scripture where a devotee of Krishna has been taken material advantage of to the extent where he suffered. He may have lost something, yes, true. Lost some wealth, lost some material thing, but he was growing in happiness, growing in bliss. There is no instance where his happiness, his bliss reduced because somebody else took advantage of him if he is a devotee of Krishna. You find such an example in the scriptures and you show me, we can talk about it. But Krishna says, in this we will go in more detail in 9th chapter. Krishna says that yoga kshemam vahamyaham, and what is that? Name bhaktah pranashyati kaunteya pratijanihi. 9.31, I think. Kaunteya pratijanihi. Declare it, Kaunteya Arjuna. Na me bhaktah pranashyati. My devotee never gets destroyed. Nashyati. Never. Krishna protects his devotees. So nobody can take advantage of you to the point where you become unhappy. You may get some material wealth may be lost. In some cases, Krishna arranges that because that material wealth is an impediment in your relationship to Krishna. That may be the case. Okay. So we will stop here. There is a private question that has just come into me. I think we are running way over time. I will deal with it next time. Okay, now one last thing I wanted to share before you all go. This month is called Adhik Mas. It is an extra month that is added every 3 years because we follow the lunar calendar. The Vedic system follows lunar calendar, and like there is a correction in solar calendar called leap year, once in 4 years, right? You have February, 29 days. In the lunar calendar, there is a whole month that is added every 3 years. That is known as Purushottam Adhik Mas. Adhik means extra month to correct. In this Adhik Mas, one should spend even more time developing Krishna consciousness, especially in the form of reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And the benefits of that are multiplied many times. So please use this month. It started on 18th September, just 2 days back. It will go on till 18th October or 17th October or something. In this month, definitely do more devotional activities, read Bhagavad Gita, do Kirtana, do hear Srimad Bhagavatam, read Srimad Bhagavatam. It will be very beneficial. So please make use of this wonderful opportunity of Adhik Mas going on. Okay, I think I have taken a lot of your time extra. Thank you very much. I'll see you all next week. We'll continue chapter 7. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.